Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lara Waldman. I am the Abundance Activator, and it's my great pleasure to introduce you today to Melina Abbott, a transformational leader. Welcome very much here, Melina.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. It's like, whoa.
So much fun. So I'd like to introduce you to Melina. I'm going to read something out for you all. So Melina is a wife and a mom of 2 children and has been in business since 2004. She's an expert in sales and marketing, and for many years she taught entrepreneurs how to attract high-paying clients. However, after taking her business to over 6 figures, she noticed that she was still grappling with the same problems and challenges that she was when her income was much lower. If more money didn't give her deep fulfillment and joy she desperately craved, then what would? So she went on a journey of discovery and experienced at a very deep level that fulfillment comes not from what you do, but who you are. Through her absolute commitment to freedom and a desire to completely break free of the patterns that shackle humanity, she moved from living a life of identity to one of essence. She now supports other courageous souls who want to do the same. That's beautiful, Melina. How awesome is that?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's taken a little while to get to that point, actually. The real heart, to get to the real heart of what I did without it sounding like what everyone else was doing, and it not being that. It's like it's taking it to a depth and a magical place that is just amazing and beautiful and wonderful, and I could wax lyrical for hours.
It's pretty awesome because, you know, you've reached a level of success in your business according to this world, 6 figures plus. And I know you manifested your dream home and all these things happen in your life. You reached these milestones. And it's so interesting to hear how at the end of the day, there was still these old patterns still existed there. And I find this really, really fascinating. And I see people, going for money, going for success, going for their goals and dreams. And it seems to be this kind of endless cycle that you get on this train that you can't get off. And I'd love to speak to you about it because you've been there, you've been to success and back. And I'd love to hear your wisdom, what you have to say about money, success, wealth, growing a successful business, and what it all comes down to. I know it's a pretty big subject and a big question, but I'd love to hear what comes to you today about this.
Yeah, I mean, if I look back on my journey, like I really look back at that time when I was growing my business, and when because I made, like so many people that you hear, I made a decision. Like I absolutely made a decision. This is going to be it. This is right. This is a year that I'm going to take my business forward. And because my accountant had said, oh, you might want to think about closing your limited company. He didn't quite suggest me going out of business. And I'm like, no, this is gonna happen. And I tripled my business, and then I tripled it again and took it to beyond 6 figures. And those 2 years at that time were like extraordinary. I invested at a high level with mentors. I traveled, I was going to say the world, but traveled within Europe. And actually I did travel to the States as well. And I stayed in luxury hotels and was kind of like living the dream. And it was amazing. Like there were times, and I got asked to do sales and coaching for the leading entrepreneurs in our field. It was like, really? You mean I get to do this and get paid for it? And it was extraordinary. And then at the end of the sort of like hitting 6 figures, it's unless I continued to play at that game, at that level, like investing. So I invested in mentors, and I could make the money because I was paying someone else. So, and then when I decided, okay, this is kind of like a bit crazy, because it was at the time, as well as being amazing and extraordinary, it was hard work. It was a lot of like picking up the phone, a lot of one-to-one calls, and I loved them. But to maintain that level of, I guess, pushing, or that level of striving, but still to struggle, because it's like I tripled my income, tripled my expenses. It's like, hang on a second, there's something nuts here. And so it wasn't, I just kind of thought, okay, there's got to be more. There's got to be more than this. This cannot be it. It's like that, you know, that feeling when you just want, I just wanted to curl up and make everything stop. Like, please, like someone to come, like a fairy godmother, or a knight. Actually, it was a knight in shining armor to come and rescue me. And then it'd be like, have a duvet day. And then no, come on, pull yourself together, Melina. Come on, there's children starving in Africa. What have you got to complain about? You've got gorgeous kids, a loving husband. You've got roof over your head, all of this. Like, come on. Like, and then I'd dig deep. Not push through, but it was like I'd find the courage. I'd find the thing for the next launch or the next thing. And what I noticed looking back was that everything that was successful for me was actually those things where I set my intention to make my business a success, but I didn't set a figure. I didn't say, right, I'm going to hit 6 figures. It was kind of there. But once I'd hit it, it was like, that was my goal, because that was the level, that was the not the pinnacle, but it's like, that's the mark of success, 6 figures. For so many people, it's like, okay, we want to get there. And somehow I knew that 7 figures or it's like $250,000. It didn't do anything for me. And 7 figures, well, that's just more of the same. Really, it's just leverage and there's different things that you can do, but it's just much more of the same. And so I didn't want that. And so I just kind of like I had to figure out another way. But at the same time, I was beating myself up because I was no longer in the game. It's like, how could I market myself as a 6-figure business owner when my turnover had dipped? It's like there wasn't that authenticity there. And I'm an explorer, so I just love to do new things. But having a quote unquote traditional kind of business, wanting to do new things all the time, that's a surefire way to get burnout. And so I was also on the transformational. I saw it more as a transformational journey rather than the spiritual journey. I kind of stumbled across the spirituality, really. Like looking at reality, looking at the world as being an illusion, and looking at patterns as things that play out in childhood. And I did a lot of work at sort of like breaking, like disconnecting from the patterns. And I had been doing that when I hit the 6 figures. So it was like they were all played in tandem. But I had to take it to a deeper level, because I'm not actually here for teaching people marketing and teaching people how to hit 6 figures. And there's now a ton of people trying to do that. Like, it's everywhere. But at the same time, I have that background in marketing. So if I wasn't meant to be in business, like leading and teaching a transformational, like a deeply transformational message, then why do I have a natural gift in sales? And it's a natural gift that I have. I did learn the tactics, but I have the natural ability to connect with people, to like build that rapport, to listen, to find out where people were at. And oftentimes people where they're struggling, it's because they're doing things that are not in alignment with who they are. And instead of listening, instead of looking at what's out there, like the feedback that you get from the outside world, that if you're getting lots of no's, if people are telling you they can't afford it or it's too expensive, you have to look at your own stuff, like your own money issues, because it's not about them. I never had any objections on money when we had a deep rapport and a deep connection, and we went to the exciting place, that place of transformation, that I call it a magical place. I just didn't get the objections. I got the objections when people didn't want to do it. But I didn't know that then. Like it's hindsight, like looking back, I can see all sorts of things I wasn't aware of then. All I knew then was it was like, everyone's telling me I can't afford it. And I taught objection handling. But actually, if I looked at what I did, as opposed to kind of like, I would quote unquote handle objections, but I didn't have to if I was in my essence, in my, I guess, truth, you'd call it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So,
thank you.
And you've spoken to a lot of people, haven't you? Because you've done so many sales calls.
So many sales calls.
Like, what did you notice with these people when they came to you at a place where they were struggling? They wanted to grow their business, right? What did you notice as reoccurring themes? So you were saying that what they were experiencing as objections was actually something going on within themselves. Was there anything else there that you observed going on?
Yeah, there was. If I look at it, they wouldn't take a leap of faith. They didn't. I have to be careful about what, not careful about what I say, because I truly believe, but I know from a really deep level that we're all here to have a unique experience of life. And so what they experienced and my experience of them was meant to be. And so, but I did notice that they would say they wanted one thing. And when you offered them that one thing, like the one thing that would take them to where they wanted to go, there would be a yeah, but I'll do it when. So I got a lot of, well, when I've got the money, then I'll invest in this training to help me get the money. And the people that said yes were like, it was within them. There was a kind of like a fire within their belly, like a trust. It was like, I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do it, but they wouldn't wait for it to be handed to them on a platter. So not everyone had the money, but those that didn't just said, I'm going to find a way. And that was within them. And that whole concept of taking responsibility, like being responsible for your life, they would kind of have that inherently in them. I'm not sure if that's making 100% sense, but it was like, the way I look at it is like, what are you paying lip service to? So you say you want something, and then you put in a whole load of objections as to why you can't have it. And the only way, it's not to kind of then say, right, I'm going to get that thing. It's to kind of look at the feedback with compassion and with love. It's like, clients aren't signing up. For example, let's take the fact that people aren't getting the financial success that they desire. It's to look at it and say, what do I need to learn here? What is that feedback giving me? What is it within me that's kind of pushing it away? And for years I had in the journey for me of transitioning into the transformational leader, as it were, I had an invisible close sign for business. It's like, I couldn't come in because I wasn't ready. I hadn't totally trusted in the divine, totally kind of, I was kind of 98% there or so close. And it's like, okay, I've got to go down another level. I've got to trust some more and be okay with it. So let go of the frustration, let go of the kind of like the pit of snakes, or just step out and get to that place. But I didn't get there overnight. It was a journey, and we want the finger snapping magic. We want the goodies. We want the yes, I could have it all right here, right now. And I did, like I so did. And when I discovered sort of like the whole, like really witness the world being an illusion, like really kind of experiencing that for myself, I was like, oh yeah. But every time I kind of like would think, all right, this is it. It's gotta take me to the next level. And it's like, oh no, you're not. It's like I was slapped around with a wet trowel, and I had to like, okay, I'm not in control. Breathe, a step back down, and totally trust. Because if you're here to teach transformation at a deep level, like And I mean, yeah, if you're here to teach it, you have to have experienced everything or enough to take your clients to. And if you haven't, how can you take someone through it? Maybe not the exact thing, but I've let go of pattern after pattern after pattern, to the point where my external world has changed, like dramatically, because I've been willing to look at myself. And there were times when I'd be, oh, why can't they see, like in real frustration, like, can't they see they're not being conscious? Can't they see that they're saying the same things about other people, that they're complaining about other people, and they're doing the exact same thing. And I had to recognize that I was doing that to a degree and integrate that and trust that's their path. It's not, I have to show up for the people that are ready to take this leap, that are kind of nearly there, not try to convince those that are not there, may never be there, that are on their own path, and kind of, yeah, accept that see that with love and compassion, and in the same way that I see my children growing up, and it's like, the amount of times my son says it's stupid, the whole world is stupid, and it's so funny, but all I know that what I can do is I have to guide him through my being, not through what I'm saying. So yeah.
Wow, amazing. And I really get the sense of how much you've had to let go to welcome in this new path, and the courage and the excitement, and what a wild and amazing journey it's been. And I'd really like to talk with you about the subject of money, because we're talking about reality and illusion, but then also, these goals and striving for the 6 figures, and we live in a world where there is money. I'm just wondering, can we have a little conversation about where are you at with money now? How do you see money? What do you think the whole point of money is? What can we do with money? And you might not have all the answers right this minute, but I'd love to have an exploration with the subject, if that would be okay with you.
That's fine. When you say what's the point of money, it's like, oh my goodness, I honestly don't know. To me, money, it's like, if I really look at money, if you really look at it behind it, it's a number in a bank account. It is literally a figure on a spreadsheet. And there's, because I took on my money journey. I hired a wealth coach, looked at investments, and it was like, I learned. So I was chasing after income, like going for income, right? Increase my income. And then I studied with Ann Wilson, and she said, it's not about the income. It's like what you do with that. Like it's how much of it you keep. Or she said something, and it was like penny, like dropped. Okay, I need to pay attention. And I did, and I followed the things. We looked at investments, and my turnover, I stopped focusing on turnover and I started focusing on income, and my income went up. I was doing my balance sheet every month, and I could watch my income going up, and it was really fun. But it was but at the same time, I also knew that the money wasn't real from a real sense, but we live in the quote unquote real world. We live in a world that is based on money. I don't understand it. The concept, like I truly, maybe I shouldn't say that, but the whole idea of the what you're worth and the net worth, it's about what's on a spreadsheet. But at the same time, it's like, I have to feed my kid, or we have to feed our children. We have to pay the rent. You have to live. They're the rules on the game. They're the rules of the game. In the same way that if you're playing tennis, there are rules. And if someone cheats at a game, I get so cross. It's really funny. So I'm like, I think I'm going to have to play the rules of the money game here. So I'm not going to win the lottery. It's not just I'm not going to like win an inheritance, which could happen, but somehow I don't think it's going to happen to me. Okay, I'm going to have to I say I'm going to have to grow my business from, going to have to generate income. But when I really let go, so the thing around money was I let go of the need to earn it. I allowed myself to receive it and stopped getting cross if I didn't earn it. So I think a lot of women in our wise days of emancipation and wanting to be like men can get a sense of we have to earn it. And I was a breadwinner for many years, like 4 or 5 years. So the pressure was on me to generate all the income, so I had to do it. Like I didn't have a choice. I couldn't let go. And I think if your back's against a wall, you can access the level of resource that's available to you that you can't it doesn't matter. So I had to access a level. And then when I realized I don't want to teach people how to make more money anymore, because what I was doing as I was wanting to do the transformational work, but they were signing up to grow their business. And so I was trying to show them that it's not about what they do. If they get the being inside of them, the business will take care of itself, because they'll get the inspiration. They'll think, they'll just have a bolt from the blue idea of a launch or a new program, and they'll put it out there and people will sign up. Something that's in alignment. And so I could see, but that wasn't working because they wanted the strategies. And so I thought, right, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I want to take my business. I just knew it had to change. And at the same time, my husband had some money. Well, he was able to take care of the finances. Now, people will look at that and say, "Oh, well, you're just lucky. You're just lucky because you had this." And I would look at my sister-in-law, I'm quite untidy, and she's super tidy. And I would say, "Well, it's because you're not working. You have the time to keep your house clean." And I'm like, "Melina, that's just completely not true. She's tidy because she's tidy, not because she has the time." And so as long as you say, well, it's all right for them because their circumstances are different. I was able to let go of having to generate an income when I was able to receive without having to earn. The income came in because of it, because I'd let go, and I was able to receive support in a way that as a gift from God. It's like it's a gift from God. I don't have to earn it. We don't have to earn it. We're given life. We're given life. We're given our gifts. And if you see, I'm talking about spiritual leaders, really, or not just spiritual leaders, but everybody that's in alignment. Actually, if I think of Innocent or Apple, or their intention was to make money, but that wasn't the driving force behind it. The driving force was innovation. And you look at the Harry Potter novels, she wanted to earn enough money to bring up her kids, and she loved writing. And then it just took off. It took on a life of its own, like the books. And so you need to act. It's accessing that level of trust, that level of gifts from God. But do you have that? It's not handed to you on a platter. It's like I had to, as you said, I had to let go of so much over and over and over. And when I thought it was so funny when I would think I'd totally let go. Right, I'm there. You know, that whole like, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And I would celebrate that. I'd post something. Honestly, it was hilarious. The instance I would say, right, I'm in Wonderland. This is amazing. Come join me. Something would happen like almost like 5 minutes later, and it'd be like slap around with a wet trout. It's like, oh man. I mean, I'm laughing about it now because I can see the times, and when I was going through it, it was a lot deeper. It was like for several months, I was in what I call the pit of despair, and it was horrible. But I knew I was meant to be there. I didn't try. I did kind of try to get out of it. But the moment I surrendered, the moment I accepted, I'm in a yucky place. It's okay. I'm not going to be here. And if I'm here forever, that's okay. The moment I kind of totally accepted it was the moment I started to climb out of it. And we want to push against it. Like, we really want to push against it so much, that because it feels so horrible. And we make our feelings wrong. So we have this whole, okay, I need to earn some money. It's like, there's a goal. It's not okay. I'm not okay where I am. And you have to kind of like have total acceptance of where you are, that it's okay. And that's not an easy thing to do. It's very easy to say, but, oh my goodness, you've got to be so vigilant, so aware of yourself, to get to that level of seeing on your own. And I know I couldn't, certainly not, especially when I was starting out on my journey. Other people had to kind of like call me out on it, and like shine the light of truth, what is actually going on. And now I'm able to do it for myself, but I wasn't. Or I was only able to see a part of it. I could see the patterns, but not enough to jump away from them.
Wow. It's amazing, this journey. So deep letting go, deep faith,
Yeah.
and then it's almost like allowing life to come through you.
Yes,
I'm hearing
totally.
Led by life, rather than somehow trying to tell life what to do. Is that right?
Yes, it's oh my goodness, yeah, you summed it up. Let life guide you, let life lead you. It's going to anyway, so you can kick and scream and fight and complain. You can, the way I see it, and I'm not visual. Sorry, I don't know what I say. I'm not a visual person generally. I feel more than whenever I was told to do visualization exercises, I was like, I could only visualize something if I'd already seen it. The way I would see it was like, imagine you're a singer singing on stage, and though they sometimes let themselves go into the audience, like completely let go, completely like trust that the hands, that they'll be safe. And that's where I've taken it. And I pay attention to life. We got a dog a couple of years ago, and someone said to me, she'll teach you a lot. And I really rankled. It's like, okay. And it's the same with children. Oh, they'll teach you a lot. It's like, life is teaching me all the time, every single moment, every single day. And my dog does teach me a lot. And I paid attention to what was within, what it was about that comment that rankled me, because it was the truth. But so
wow, amazing. I feel like we could talk forever about this subject. It's so juicy and so deep, but I'm hoping that everyone watching is really getting that this money stuff isn't really what it seems. And
no, it's not.
Yeah, and
it's not.
Kind of a game on some level, is it not?
It is. Yes, it's a game. It's a story. You have your money story, you have your money game. I like to think of it. I think of it as both, depending on where I'm at. But it is a game. It's like, and it's a fun game. It can be really fun. And truthfully, if you're struggling financially, like you really need to pay the bills, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to go out and get a job. Like, and maybe a part-time job. And in that willingness to take on your money stuff, as it were, you might not ever have to go and do that job, but you're willing. Like, when we moved into my house, like my dream home, 3 years ago, and I had to let go of the desire to own a home, because I wanted to live in £1 million, like £750,000 home. And to buy that kind of home, I'd A, have to have a huge deposit, and B, have to shell out loads in a mortgage payment. And the perfect one came up for rent. So the money that we would have had to put as a deposit down, we wouldn't have been able to do it if I was going to buy it. But we were able to invest the equity from the house we were currently in and move into the most beautiful, stunning home. And I had to let go of it was shame of not owning my own home, because in Britain, you own your own home. But we don't, we're kind of like custodians of the land, really, or custodians of a home anyway. But I didn't just move into the home and that was fine. It was like, it took me a couple of years, and I realized because our expenses tripled, I think. They tripled when we moved here. And I imagined not being able to earn the money, not being able to pay the bills, and having to go cap in hand and admit to like my community, I'm sorry, I couldn't hack it. I couldn't do it. And then I thought, it's only the fear of what other people think that it's because I would have been fine with it, but it was the fear of what other people think. And I thought, you know what, if I have to go and live on benefits in a council house, then I was willing to do that for my own freedom. It was like I had to be okay with going to the shame, as it were. And my son keeps saying, is we don't have very good internet where we are. We're out in the country. And every time he comes home and says, can we have better internet? I look and see if there's other houses. And there isn't anything that can match where we are now on a level of beauty and a level of awesomeness. But it was a magical way we found the house as well. But so often I see, and it makes me really sad, that people have these dreams and they're fixed on it happening a certain way. So they're fixed, it's got to be like this. It has to be like this. So they have tunnel vision. And if you step outside of that vision and look at it from another perspective, like, oftentimes what I'll do is like people would come to me wanting to do one thing, and I'd go, are you sure you want to do that? Or let's have a look at it another way. And they end up going away with a completely different plan, but that felt so joyful, so in alignment.
God, that is so awesome and so important. And that saying I've heard, if you want to make God laugh, show him your plans, or show her your plans. And I love that, because it's like, I think I've learned that time and time again, we've just got to let go. And you can have a dream, but really let go of what you think it needs to look like or be like, or how it needs to be, and allow it to become what it is you're truly here to experience or become. And it's so much greater than I think what we can even imagine. Anyhow,
all our frustrations. So I'm just hesitating, just in case there's an example that isn't true. And if there isn't, please let me know, someone. But pretty much from what I've seen, all our frustrations come from not accepting what's so, from wanting it to be different. Yeah. And as soon as we totally accept what's so, oh my goodness, your life changes. But you have to get rid of the idea of positive and negative experiences. All experiences are amazing. They don't feel like it at the time, but oftentimes the most amazing connections come out of tragedy. There's just a level of humanity, a level of beauty that you witness when something happens that I just find extraordinary, that isn't there in your day-to-day life. And I'm not suggesting that we have to go through those things, but to recognize that you can't have dark without light. We're in a circle of life. One day we will die. The people we leave behind will be sad. There is no avoiding that. But if once we accept that, and we don't know when it's going to be, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be in, I saw a lady who was 104 going to yoga, and I'm like, oh yes, that I want that to be me. So now I have a vision that actually, and if you look in the Bible, this blew my mind. In the Bible at the beginning, they lived for 800 years. I mean, is it true? I don't know, but the fact that all of these people, and the longest living, I can't remember all the figures, but you see, if we want to control our lives, then we are looking at it from a human perspective. And if you let go and let life guide you, let God guide you, the infinite power, infinite resource, like we can't possibly begin to imagine what could be possible. Like in our, I kind of see what I'm doing as paving the way for like God's whole story, like history. I mean, when I really think about it, it's like, it just fills me with joy. And it is chalk and cheese to how I was a few years ago when I was kind of like stuck in the got to earn more money. It's like anyone who has known me through on my journey will witness the difference. And it's available to everybody. So everybody can experience this level of joy, this level of fulfillment, this level of wonder, the world. But it won't necessarily be easy. It won't be finger snapping magic.
No, but it won't be boring either, will it?
It will not be, to be honest. Like, I would do anything but be bored.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get a little bit bored. And I'm like, okay, it's excitement and fun. And we've each got our own. We're all so unique. We've each got our own, our own personalities, our own quirks. I mean, can you imagine a world full of Melinas, or a world full of Laras, or a world, that's funny. But yeah, I could talk for hours actually.
So Melina, you've created a magical space, a live event coming up, for us to come and play with these ideas and concepts and energies. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the live events that you have coming up in November and December.
Yes, I have. It's called A Magical Day in Wonderland, and it's it's an experience. So you will experience what I'm talking about. So it's not just about ideas and concepts and teaching. It's like a journey, like a day you will go through to experience what I'm calling Wonderland. It's kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel, that dancing in Wonderland. And I've got one coming up in Shifnal, in my hometown where I live, on the 11th of November. So that's Friday, the 11th of November. And one in London on the 12th of December. I like numbers in alignment.
11 and 12, 11?
Yeah, 11, 11 and 12, 12. And you're anybody who is, if you're drawn, you can kind of feel it rather than it. It's accessing a level of magic, a level of wonder, the connection to God, or to source, or however you want to language it. But in a really fun way. Like, I'm all about fun and joy and passion and excitement. So that's what you'd get if you want to come along and play and dance and experience Wonderland for yourself.
Brilliant. I'm going to come and experience Wonderland. So I'm looking forward to coming playing in magic with you. It'll be lots of fun. So join us. Both events are in England, and there'll be a link below this video that you can find out more about it. There's a lot of great details, and you can sign up there. Melina, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence and your wisdom and your life experience so far around business and success and money and life and what this whole game is all about. It's been a real pleasure spending this time with you. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me, Lara. It really is a privilege to be able to talk about it, and to talk about it at this level, so that you can, with someone who is kind of like can get where I'm coming from. So thank you.
You're so welcome. It's been gorgeous. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye.